All right, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So, this is a review episode of the midweek matches, mainly the Champions League, Premier League, Europa League. So, Amitabh, where do we begin?
Yeah, hi Rahul. Hi everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. So we start at home at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Lille in the round of 16. Now, as already mentioned, we were second in our group stage, so the first match was at home, and with the away goals no longer in play in the Champions League, in all the European competitions, basically. So it was imperative for us to put in a solid display, and that is something we did. Scored two goals. Havertz, the first one, quite early in the match. Even before scoring the goals, he missed at least one good chance. And in the second half, a superb run by Kante, and finally Pulisic finished it off. So two goals for two of our players who actually needed that confidence. Again, with all the noise around Lukaku and his performance. He was benched for this match and he did not participate. Tuchel said that maybe it was the best for him to be out of the spotlight for a bit. Let's see what he decides for the League Cup final on Sunday. As far as Lille is concerned, yes, they did play well. They had speed up top. They did create a few chances. Renato Sanchez was on his game. He had a wonderful night. And yeah, off we go to France now with a 2-0 lead. Raul?
Yeah, I think the only team to win at home in the Champions League this week. I think, in a way, it was expected. At the same time, no one expected a bashing or anything, but no one expected a draw or anything like that either. I think 2-0 is a fair result in my mind. Playing at home the first leg, we also already know that we have to go away, and so yeah, it kind of made sense. Again, we are the defending champions again against a team that's struggling in League One at this season, at this point in time, especially after having lost so many players, so many key players, not just at the beginning of the season, but even now. In January, I think they lost their left back Ranillo to Atletico, even Jonathan Icone to Fiorentina, but not really sure if they've replaced those players. They are a little weaker, obviously, than what they were last season. I mean, obviously, no one really expected them to win League One last season, but still, they did. Uh, I think again, like playing at home, we've got such a great record at home as well. Uh, a lot of the players are back from injury. Even before I think the match started, I think we had the the three injured players, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. They came out with the Club World Cup trophy. So yeah, another feel-good moment for the Stamford Bridge faithful. Yeah, I mean, Kante again, like he just never stops running. That man, he's so good. He's so precious again, not just to like Chelsea, but I guess to world football. And I think Havertz again with his uh, hard work. Like again, there was so much talk about Lukaku 7 touches, and it was like by the time Howard scored in the eighth or ninth minute, he had already had more touches than Lukaku. The touches that Lukaku had in the entire game. So let's see like who's gonna start. Another thing to notice, like I remember the Mount was on the bench, but then when Kai Howard scored, the passion that Mount displayed was just so evident for everyone to see. That man just breathes Chelsea. And again, Pulisic was also like after the post match that Kante just never stopped running, and Kante provided a great pass, and Pulisic again, finally, playing on his favorite left wing position, managed to score. So let's see if he keeps his position. The only concern that probably Amitabh didn't talk about is the two injuries concerns. So let's just hope that those two injury concerns to Ziyech and Kovacic, they're not serious. Hopefully that not sure that if they'll start, but at least I just hope that they're fit enough to be on the bench at least against Liverpool in the League Cup final up the Chelsea.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rahul. Actually, now those two become two of our most important players with Ziyech in the kind of form that he's in, and Kovacic being the driving force from midfield. So I think we lose something when Kovacic is not on the field. Jorginho is great as someone who sits in front of the defenders and um, handles the attacking side of the opponents. He just blunts it out. But Kovacic again he does that well, but then he's also someone who dribbles past players and makes those incisive runs. So his non-availability will be like a bigger cause of concern for us. Um, yeah, another thing was there was Frank Lebov, former World Cup winner, who are present in this match. He was like the special guest for Chelsea, and yeah, I think that's about it for this game. Let's see what the injury concerns are. We'll have the press conference today from Tuchel. We'll get a better picture of how the squad is from there. In the next match, we had Villarreal against Juventus, Vlahovic's first Champions League match. And what does he do? He scores a goal in the first minute. But it was not smooth sailing for Juventus from there on in. Villarreal actually scored in the 66th minute from Danny Parejo basically. And even after the match, Allegri singled out Rabiot. He actually called out that Rabiot was at mistake for the goal that they conceded. And there was also a set of view that maybe it was Delit who did not, follow up on the attack that Real had made. So again, noises from a camp never nice to hear, but then that just shows how what the team spirit is. As far as the match is concerned, I think that was pretty much what we expected. Villarreal and Juventus both like holding their cards for the time being. They just did not want to, concede the advantage to the opponents. Let's see how it pans out in theory next. I mean, whenever the next leg is in a couple of weeks' time. Rahul?
Yeah, I think another prediction, Amitabh, that we got right, along with the Chelsea prediction. So yeah, like the question marks, at least for us, were around Vlahovic, like how he adapts to the Premier European competition. But then again, he took like a duck to water, scored just 32 seconds in. I think that's the second fastest goal. I think the first was David Alaba. But yes, I think the performance, we kind of predicted that both it would be a cagey affair, as you would expect. Villarreal just make it so tough for any teams that comes in. But then I read somewhere that Juventus have actually got a very good record against Spanish opposition in the Champions League. I think they've only lost one of their past 6 away games in Spain. So maybe that also played a part. But yeah, I think it's actually going to be the second leg wherein I'm not sure. Maybe in this match at least we saw both teams, holding back because of the new rule of away goals not really counting. So that's what at least I thought. But not really sure if the strategy of
this is something that we discussed.
Players.
Yes, this is something that we discussed even last week, that with foregoing of the away rules, again, everybody is waiting for the latter half, I mean, the second half of the tie to actually, go ahead and take the, match by the scruff of its neck. The first half now is like, don't concede, let's not lose ground, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, I think we can move on from this match if you want to.
Okay. On Wednesday, we had the tie that a lot of us were looking forward to, not because there were two great teams in great form, or definitely two great teams, but
are you talking about Ajax and Benfica?
You know who I'm talking about. And given their indifferent form of late, I mean, nobody knew what to predict about this match, and I think it was the same with us. But I think we got the prediction right in this one as well. I don't really remember. So it was Atletico Madrid against Manchester United, two huge clubs. Now, in the first half, Atletico swept the floor with Man U. They were so aggressive and so incisive, and to the point they actually scored in the 7th minute, I guess, through João Felix, and they could have scored more. And United were like lost, absolutely lost. They had no idea what is going on. But in the second half, I mean, the performances had to improve from United's point of view, because how long can you go on with such a low base? So definitely performance improved. Anthony Langa came on. He scored a goal through his first touch, I guess. So the tie hands in balance now, 1-1. But I don't know. With the mentality and all, I still think United are up for taking, even though the next leg is at Old Trafford. But I think Simeone will prepare his team for the tie. And now the last two times they visited England, one was, I mean, both were against Liverpool, but like conflicting fortunes, they won one and lost the other one. So yeah, let's see what happens the third time. Rahul, your views on the match?
I think first of all, again, the header that Joao Felix scored, I think one of the shortest players on the pitch, and still he managed to score from a header again. And who was marking him? None other than the best defender on the planet, Harry Maguire. Uh, Again, first of all, it makes no sense, for someone so short in a way to score from a header. You've straight away got a point to the defender marking him. Other than that, I think Renan Lodi was so good in this match. It's actually when he got substituted, when he got injured, that's actually when the course of the game changed. Uh, I mean, he's the one who actually provided Felix with the assist as well. So yeah, I think as soon as he went off, Atletico had no idea like what to do, how to replace him, uh, and that's when someone like Elanga, who has been in such great form right now, uh, came on and scored with his in a way first touch, and it's 1-1. But then I kind of feel like something that I didn't feel last time out. I kind of now feel like I agree with you here, and the fact that I do feel that Atletico do have that advantage over United, because when I take a look at this Atletico side and their manager, I know that they're both very poor right now. I don't want to say any other word, but yeah, uh, they do at least have experience of these competitions, something that not only a lot of these United players don't, but also Ragnick doesn't, uh, at least in my opinion. So that could actually play, a huge factor, a huge part. That when it comes to second leg, I mean, obviously, except Ronaldo, who has been there for United, who's been like, been through the end stages of the latter stages of the competition. I can't really think of anyone, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
so a
let's see.
couple of things here. Actually, you see, when it comes to the current, I think personalities matter a lot. And yes, Ronaldo is a great player and all that. I mean, who am I to say anything else? But I think he also has a tendency to, throw his toys out of the pram if it is not going his way. And as far as Atletico is concerned, I just think mentally they are so much more stronger. Again, the first goal becomes crucial. And if United get the first goal, yeah, of course they can win it. Of course they can win the tie. But if I had to put money, I would still put my money on Atletico right now, just because of they can go through hell, and then come back. But I don't know how many of the United players can do that. And as far as Rudy is concerned, yes, he had a great game. I missed out saying this. And he was actually acting as the fifth defender when United was attacking. And when they were going forward, he was like the wing back. So he ran his heart out. And let's hope that whatever he has suffered is not, long term. And yeah, a great signing by Atletico once again. Maybe this will solve some of the problems that they have been experiencing of late. Let's see. Let's see. Off to the next, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Benfica against Ajax. The match ended in a 2-2 draw. Actually, Ajax scored 3 goals. Haller scored 2 goals, one for each team. And Tadic was the scorer for Ajax, and Yaramchuk scored for Benfica in the 72nd minute to tie the game. Um, Rahul, your views?
So again, we got to start with Ajax is away from in the Champions League. I think they've only lost one tie away in the Champions League in the last 16 matches. That was, I think, the game against Ajax, Liverpool last season. Other than that, they've been to so many teams, but they've at least managed to get a point. One being, I remember, the 4-4 draw against Chelsea. So, like we said, that even actually we got this prediction right, Amitabh. Yeah, we kind of predicted a draw. Uh, I mean, obviously, we did say that they are the favorites. Obviously, 6 games winning streak in the Champions League, and now this one they got away with draw. Aller actually has scored, if I'm not wrong, in all 7 matches of the competition. In this one, he actually managed to score. I mean, it was such a very weird combination, you know. The one defending was a striker, and the one scoring was a defender. It was Jan Vertonghen, the former Tottenham player. He was the one who made all those touches and put the ball in the back of the net, and that's when the ball touched Aller. So yeah, the roles reversed here. Uh, Other than that, I think some great goals. The goal that Tadic opened the scoring with, I think another great goal. But you gotta say that in a way, when these two players were in the Premier League, no one really expected these players to play for such a big club or such a big stage. Like one was struggling at Southampton, the other was struggling at West Ham. But now they're both become such key parts, key components of a Dutch team. So yeah, uh, we've already like they've already got such a great defense. When we take a look at their domestic record, Ajax are just so good, whereas Benfica have obviously uh, lost ground because when you talk about Liga NOS, it's actually Porto and Sporting. Benfica actually had to sack their coach Jorge Jesus as well, and now Verissimo, I think Nelson Verissimo is the guy. I think it was his first game in the European competition for Benfica this season. Uh, so they've got a good home record as well, but yeah, a draw is a fair result. But I would still suggest that when it comes to the second leg, I think Ajax are going to be the favorites. Some great goals from both teams. I think the opening goal was great. Even the last goal, the equalizer, was really good to see. But let's see what we can, if there's any more, action left in in this match.
Yeah, I think the smart money would still be on IS. Definitely agree with you there. Okay, so coming to last night's matches, we had the round of 32 in Europa League. So the first one was Zagreb against Sevilla. So Sevilla were leading this 3-1. They lost the match 1-0 yesterday, but they still qualify. And the second one was Lazio against Porto. So Lazio equalized in extra time of the second half. The match ended 2-2, but Porto qualified with an overall score of 4-3. Your views on both these matches, Rahul?
Yeah, we got predictions right in these two as well.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
we should stop doing this and actually start betting professionally, I guess.
I mean, yeah, we kind of predicted that, Zagreb again, they would try to win, which they did. But again, the fact that the gap was so high in a way that even a 1-0 victory was not enough. Overall, we did predict that Sevilla would go through again. They are, like you said in our last podcast, that they are more of a cup team. So that was on full display here. Other than that, about Lazio and Porto, I think we did talk about Porto, having just so much more experience and nous and passion and hunger when it comes to European competitions than a team managed by Sari, who don't really want it as much as the other team. Like what they usually do is they draw at home and they lose away from home. I mean, that should not be the strategy. Maybe, obviously, I'm not saying that they don't try their best, but yeah, we kind of predicted that this would happen. They would just draw this match, and yeah, the team that wants it more would go through, which would be Porto, and they, yeah, that's what happened here. Not sure if anything else I should add anything.
Yeah, I think the favorites of both the ties have advanced to the next round. Let's see what fixtures we have for the next round. So in the next set of matches, we have Atalanta beating 3-0 Olympiacos. Now this was really a great effort from Atlanta. Yes, we know that they are good away from home, but again, as we have put it out quite frequently, that Olympiacos is not the easiest place to go and win. So well done to them. Malinovsky having 2 goals. Now this boy is also in rich way of form. So well done Atalanta. I hope they can translate this form in Serie A as well. Somehow that is not been the case of late. And then we had Sociedad against Leipzig. The match was 2-2 in the first leg. Leipzig won 3-1. So they advanced to the next round as well. Rahul?
Yeah, first of all, I think a surprising result for us in terms of the Leipzig and Sociedad match. That's a prediction I think that didn't really go our way. uh, but yes, again, I think it's just this pattern, I guess, of pressing teams doing better in Europe. So, which is what happened with Leipzig. I think even though the first game ended in a draw, but then here, I think now Sociedad have lost what, 2 games and two poor results. Like first they lost I think 4-0 uh, at the weekend against Bilbao, and now this result. So yeah, they're just out of sorts, and a lot of these players are underperforming for Sociedad, especially. I think even someone like Alexander Isak not really reaching those heights, those standards of previous seasons. Even Leipzig's unknown player at Sociedad, Alexander Sørloth, not really doing much. So yeah, they need to really figure out what to do, and to not to fix these things. Otherwise, they're just gonna lose further ground, not only uh, in other cup competitions, but even in La Liga. Other than that, I think a special shout out to Malinowski. Being from Ukraine, obviously, it's a difficult situation for any Ukrainian player. Um, so yeah, even when he scored, he displayed a message of displaying no war in Ukraine, which is so touching to see. So yeah, I think everyone was motivated for this match for Atlanta, and we've kind of predicted them to go through, and yeah, they did.
Yeah, so the next set of matches, two Slovenotas from this round. Napoli against Barcelona. Now Barcelona won this tie overall 3-5. They won the match last night 4-2. Um, the only reaction that I have is I think this team is gelling well now. I mean, yes, they did buy very, very prudently in the January transfer window, and there were shades of the old Barcelona yesterday. They might as well, go ahead and have an Espanyol kind of performance this weekend, but at least now it is for all of us to see what Xavi is trying to, how he's trying to shape up the team and everything. A lot of the new players were involved in goals also. Traore had an assist for Aubameyang scored. So away from home, again a performance that will really give them a lot of confidence, and I'm sure that they believe that this competition is not for them. But given the turmoil that they have been in, any silverware is like so important for the morale of the team right now and for the supporters as well. So I think they'll be taking this competition seriously from here on in. Napoli against, they flatter to deceive. They had their moment on Monday when they drew against Spezia, I guess, when they had an opportunity to go on
Cagliari.
top of Syria, Cagliari, yeah. And they had an opportunity to go on top of the table in Syria. They did not do that. Um, and again, despite being the home side, they somehow did not take the initiative yesterday as well. Maybe they were not able to take the initiative given the performance of Barcelona, but yeah, there was a gulf of skill and class that was pretty evident in yesterday's match. Rahul?
Yeah, I think first I'll talk about the Serie A match. I think yeah, what a weekend. It was. I mean, they had such a golden opportunity. Like all the other teams from the top six had dropped points, and had they managed to get a win, they would have been at the top of Serie A table. But then, uh, in a way, we could just see that the team that wanted it more opened the scoring, which was Cagliari, who were in the relegation zone, if I'm not wrong. And then yeah, Walter Mazzari finally has turned things around, I guess. They opened the scoring, and then Napoli got a late equalizer, but then still had enough time to score a winner, but they could not. So I'm talking actually about a pattern here with not just Napoli, but in a way with Luciano Spalletti. In a way, he's also like this. When it comes to actual big games, he does fluff his lines. He does choke, or his teams do choke a little bit, which is the reason why he's high. He's held in high regard, high esteem. But at the same time, it's not really sure if he's someone who gets who wins trophies. I don't really think he's got a very trophy laden career. So that's something that we have seen, and which is another reason why now I'm at least in my opinion, I'm not really sure if Napoli will win Serie A. It's in a way similar to a little bit like Sevilla in La Liga, but yeah, at least they're not favorites in my eyes. About this match again, we've talked so much about Italian teams, how they perform when it comes to European competitions, and this was, I guess, in a way, vintage Barcelona. Your Jordi Alba again. It doesn't seem like he's getting old. I mean, opened the scoring, and then Frankie De Jong scored another wonderful goal. I mean, Aubameyang again. What a signing he looks to be now. They've just got this balance in a way, that and even Gerard Piqué. I think. I mean, when these defenders, these old defenders, they are scoring goals like it's nothing, then you gotta understand that something's wrong. Not really sure if it's with Napoli, not sure if it's with the mentality, if it's with the manager, with the tactics, but there's something wrong. We, in a way, this was supposed to be the tie of the weekend, and even when Insigne scored for from the penalty against Barcelona, I still kind of felt like no, it's all it's just not gonna go their way now.
Yeah, so that was the general feeling, and I think that was the feeling even among the Napoli players, which is like so disheartening to see. But yeah, it is what it is. In the next tie, we had Rangers against Dortmund. That Dortmund actually took a 2-1 lead here. But Rangers equalized. Tavernier scored two goals, one of them being a penalty. So Rangers win this tie, 6-4 on aggregate. And I think we did discuss this last time. The key difference between the two teams definitely was the team spirit. And Hummels against again had a shocker. Um, can't stress that enough. I think Dortmund's biggest concern right now should not be Haaland. I think it is tying Bellingham to a new contract because he is the next best thing and next big thing, and they will like have to do something to convince him and tie him to a longer contract because that guy is on fire, and of course Dortmund would like to capitalize on his talent. As far as the match is concerned. Again, we did expect Rangers to go through, and at least, I mean, the only thing we can say in favor of Dortmund was they were better than last week. But again, they were so poor, so they had to be a little better than what they were. Rahul?
Obviously, like there's nothing wrong with this performance. It's a performance in the first leg that cost them, that got them knocked out of the competition. So yeah, even now they were missing a few key players. But then again, someone like Jude Bellingham, just 18. I mean, seriously, we knew that this game. I mean, it's not like we knew; it's just that there was no other option. Like Dortmund had to come out strong in this match, but still, I mean, when Rangers opened the scoring, that would have been it for them. They would have dropped their weapons, but then that didn't really happen. They still came back to score two goals, but again, just didn't really have enough time. I mean, again, it was so poor that the margin, the difference was so much that they just couldn't really, come back into this tie. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and the next one was Betis against Petersburg. Now, again, with what is going on in the world, whatever repercussion it had on the St. Petersburg players, it was a nil-nil draw. Betis go through basis the result last week. Um, I really don't know. I really don't know what else to say on the footballing side of things when there is something so much more important going on. The official position of FIFA and UEFA is that more so UEFA than FIFA that they are trying to they'll have a meeting today and then they'll discuss what to do because there are so many Russian teams in UEFA competitions. The Champions League final at Petersburg that is most likely to be shifted. Um, the talk was about Wembley, but I think there are other candidates as well that fulfill the criteria. And an official statement, an official position will be out later today. So whatever the sanctions are or whatever the decisions are, that will be clear to us. Again, as far as the match is concerned, Petersburg are out of the competition. Betis are through. Rahul?
Yeah, kind of related. I mean, obviously, Betis got the job done in the first leg by winning away from home. So in this match again, a lot of the external factors also played a big part, in my opinion. I guess, yeah, like you said about the previous match, that even in this match, Petersburg had to come out strong, but then though Betis, they've actually got a pretty decent record, I guess. Uh, and under Pellegrini again, someone who's just had them so organized, and they just got over the line. I guess they will just forget about this draw and move on to the next one, and they'll try to advance as much as possible in this competition.
So on to the last match of Europa League, prediction that we did get wrong. So Braga actually scored 2 goals against Sheriff. The match went into extra time and then to penalties, and Braga win. So that's the comeback win for Braga. Rahul, anything you'd like to say here?
Uh, yeah, I guess the team that in a way has more experience. Uh, that's what I would say. I think no one really. I mean, to be honest, kudos to Sheriff for even getting this far. Like no one, first of all, really expected them to qualify for the Champions League. Then no one really expected them to, let's say, beat Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, but somehow they still did. They didn't finish at the bottom of the group. They actually finished third, which is why they were in the Europa League. And even the Europa League, they actually got a decent result. At least in the first. Like it's not like they had a bashing. They actually got knocked out in penalties. So again, for a team like Sheriff, I think it's a decent result. I mean, at least people know who Sheriff are. So yeah.
Yeah, it's more than a decent result. I mean, I read somewhere they're a team of handymen and carpenters and whatnot. And I
Yeah.
mean, they actually beat Real Madrid, man. Come on,
Yeah.
give them their due.
Yeah.
So I think they're the darling of everyone, at least in Europe, the people who follow this competition. And yeah, this is how it ends. But a great job, and they really have done their club, their country, the supporters proud. So well done to them.
Yep.
Moving on to the Premier League matches that happened over this week. So we start off with Burnley against Tottenham, and we did say that it is totally in Tottenham's capabilities to win against City away and then lose to Burnley, and this is what they did. Now we did talk about the match and the chances and all that, but what really came out of the match was Conte's outburst, and he outrightly declared that maybe it's not. I mean, he's not the right person for this job and stuff like this, which again goes absolutely opposite to what he said 10 days ago about this being a project and he'll manage it and all that stuff. Now Tottenham have lost 4 games out of the last 5, and they played almost all the matches that they had in hand, and they are still quite far from the fourth position. So I, for one, would think that they are done, because not only it's about the results, but with the I can only imagine what the dressing room would be like. And we all know Conte as someone, yeah, all that passion and fire is good, but you also need to have that ability to deal with the lows of life, and that is where Conte generally just gets out of the situation. I personally have not seen him make a comeback of sorts. So they're down in the dumps, and again, we've said this once and we'll say it again: Tottenham doing Tottenham things. Rahul?
Uh, I mean, obviously, like we are both Chelsea fans, and we don't really want Tottenham to win. But at the same time, like at least I feel that we need to. I need to come to Tottenham's defense here. I don't really think that the attitude that Conte has displayed is actually professional, in my opinion. He's got a contract for a season and a half. He should respect that contract. And uh, I mean, these are the things that should happen, in private, not in front of everyone, not in front of the media. It's like he's begging to be sacked. And I mean, I understand that you want Daniel Levy to invest in the club, but then at the same time, it's February. The transfer window has closed. You cannot sign players. Whoever you have, need to use those players till the end of the season. Why are you throwing this hissy fit? I mean, uh, again, like just 10 days or a few days ago, he was like, "This is the best group of players that he's worked with." This is a quote that I read, and now he's like, "Nothing changes. Only the manager change. The results don't change." Uh, I mean, you should be focusing more time on the training pitch instead of just questioning and just begging to be sacked. If you, I don't know. Here, I do feel like Conte is wrong.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, nobody's coming to Conte's defense. The fact is, um, I mean, when they win, it is the team's performance, of course. But when they lose, again, this is something that even Jose Mourinho has been, blamed for. You cannot say that they lose and we win. And this is exactly what Conte is doing. He's alienating himself from the poor run of results. Yes, you have won in the past. Yes, you are a good coach, but then the results of Tottenham also the responsibility lies with you also. You cannot say that you did everything you could, but the players are not able to do, translate whatever he's trying to say on the pitch. But even that is your fault. And if you think you are at fault, then just go. Don't, dilly dally and don't, again, as you said, don't throw a hissy fit. And that too in front of media, because what good is that going to do? Right. So again, see, I actually, even as a Chelsea fan, I don't actually hate Tottenham. I mean, as much as like any other team, it is okay. It is Tottenham, but I just don't consider them as a threat. I mean, that is what I can say. But again, the mismanagement and yeah, maybe again you take wrong decisions, and this is what will happen. So just let's move on. In the next match, we had Watford against Crystal Palace. Um, Mateta scored for Crystal Palace through a deflected shot with Sissoko replying after a couple of minutes. Then Callender scored a great goal. I mean, in the mid defender and then top corner, he scored. And then two goals were scored late in the match by Zaha. So Palace win 4-1. Again, it does more harm to Watford than it does any good to Crystal Palace. The views on the match, Rahul?
So I think I read a stat wherein, Crystal Palace, they won 47 league games against Watford. So Watford are in a way their favorite opposition. They love to play against Watford. I mean, again, there was so much talk around, the fact that Roy Hodgson was the manager of Watford, the former manager of Crystal Palace. So yeah, I think that maybe played a part. At the same time, I think the loss against Chelsea also was weighing on Patrick Vieira's shoulders, on his mind. So I think, yeah, it made sense. The Crystal Palace. I think I'm just happy that Gallagher scored, and yeah, we all already knew like how hard it was going to be for someone like Hodgson, for someone like Watford. I mean, they did get one result right, I think, in the previous match against Aston Villa, but then it's all about getting those results on a consistent basis, which we all know is not going to happen. I mean, at the same time, under someone like Hodgson, they'll lose this match, but then in the next match, maybe they again, get a draw or a 1-0 victory, which is quite possible. But then even these results will happen.
Yes, Rahul. And moving on, again, a prediction that you got right. Liverpool leads 6-0. So I think the less said, the better, especially for Leeds. As far as Liverpool is concerned, they win the match in hand. Now they are 3 points behind City, same number of matches played. They have to play one each other in April at the Etihad. And Liverpool have a better goal difference after this match. So is the title race on? Maybe. Again, even before they meet, they'll have to play at least 3, 4, 5 matches. So it's not that the whole title depends on that match itself. But yes, there is a very visible, tangible chance for Liverpool to make a comeback. Rahul?
Well, first of all, I know that I got the prediction right, but then I'm not really happy that I got the prediction right, to be honest. I mean, this is not a team that looks like a Premier League team, to be honest. Liverpool, oh, sorry, Leeds. And if they continue to play like this, then they'll actually go where they belong, in my opinion, which is the Championship. Not really sure if Bielsa is going to stay. Obviously, his contract ends. I don't really think if that happens, he would sign an extension, and at the same time, not really sure if they would want him to sign an extension, right? So, I mean, again, it's the same thing. We just know how they're going to play. There's no plan B. You keep playing from the back. You keep doing what is not working, which is again, I guess there's a definition. It's called insanity. It's insanity, but then I'm not sure if I'm the only one who's able to see it, and Bielsa is not. Again, I can maybe Liverpool, like we talked about Manchester City, again a cheat code team with a cheat code manager. Yeah.
Man, I mean, their signing of Diaz, that is going to be a game changer. Yeah. I mean, we just have to see what is the upside of that kid. And what is the upside that he can bring to the team, especially in the second half of the season, because they already have so many good players, but the fact that this guy still adds something to the team, that just shows the level of talent that we're dealing with here. Rahul?
Yeah. So, sorry, who are you talking about?
Luis Diaz.
Okay, yeah. What a signing again, yeah. Uh, I mean, obviously he didn't really score, but then at the same time, it's not really about scoring. I guess as long as he's setting up goals, I think because scoring goals, like we talked about earlier, has never been a problem for Liverpool this season. At least top scorers even this season, and a brace from Mane, a brace from Salah, even the two central defenders, Van Dijk and Matip scored. I mean, they're scoring goals from everywhere. So yeah, even though they're without Jota, or even if they're without someone like Firmino, but then they've still got so many options now. Even someone like Divock Origi or Minamino, even in the middle of the park, someone like Harvey Elliott. I mean, man, I don't know what to say about Liverpool, man. So, do you think we should move on, Amitabh, from this match?
Yeah. Sorry, I was having some technical issues. So the last match for the week was Arsenal against Wolves. Again, a very important match with respect to the top four credentials of both the teams. And Wolves actually started the scoring. They scored the first goal, and Arsenal made a comeback late in the second half with Pepe, and it was actually an own goal from Jose Sa. And uh, yeah, so 2-1 to Arsenal, and they have really like cemented their place in, I mean, for the top four as far as the present time is concerned. They still have a couple of matches over others. So a great performance, a very robust and resolute performance, something that we, qualities we did not associate with Arsenal for quite a while now. So yeah, well done to them, Rahul.
I mean, yeah. First of all, I'll talk about they've actually played two games less than West Ham, and they're already 3 points ahead of West Ham. So if they win their two games, they'll be 9 points ahead of West Ham. So there will be a massive difference between them and the team below them. And, other than that, I think they're 1 point behind Manchester United. United are on 46 and Arsenal are on 45. But again, United have played two games more. So it does look like at this point in time that when it comes to the fourth spot, Arsenal are the favorites, as much as I hate to say it. But yeah, in a way, again, like even if they do manage to somehow finish in the top four, in a way, they don't really have any midweek games. I mean, not talking about the game last night, but then generally because they're not in Europe, they only have one game a week. But even if they somehow manage to finish in the top four, I don't really think that next season they're gonna be there's gonna be a massive improvement, because when it's gonna be again two games a week, I think they're again gonna go back to the same old Arsenal. Uh, but yeah, that's something that's gonna happen next season if it happens. But then this season, I think they're taking full advantage of just concentrating uh, on the training ground, on the tactics, and again something that we haven't really seen in a long time. Uh, this mentality in a way of grinding out results. I mean, this probably would have been a 1-0 victory, for Wolves last season, but then this time out, they actually made a comeback. Not even a draw, but actually scored a late winner. So kudos to Arsenal, but yeah.
Yeah, so with that, we come to the end of this podcast, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back with our preview podcast. And till that time, please take care and bye bye.
All right, guys. Thank you.